Welcome, GLS Class of 2024. I'm Dean Julie Mostov, and I'm thrilled to be welcoming you to New York University and Liberal Studies. Congratulations on being here. You can be quite proud to be among the amazing class members of 2024. At the presidential welcome, you will hear lots of statistics about the diverse composition of your class and the outstanding credentials of the students joining NYU this year. Do not doubt a word of it, as over 85,000 students applied for admission this year, and we were more selective than ever in forming your class. So bravo. You will also hear that this is a year like no other, and that goes without saying. Hopefully, years from now, you will reminisce with classmates about the strange circumstances of social distancing, classes with masks, and virtual engagement. And this is something that you will share with one another, experiences of resilient creativity, bravery, humor, and innovation. The university is a space of knowledge production, sharing, and exchange. A place to explore, to grow, to challenge one's assumptions, to uncover painful histories, and excavate the root causes of social cleavages, economic disparities, and corrosive injustices. And GLS is a distinct, inspiring space, global, interdisciplinary, and engaged. A space in which to build the confidence, the understanding, the intellectual capacity, and communicative skills to meet and overcome the challenges of our times. The pandemic has turned our attention to issues of public health. Black Lives Matter movement has forced us to re-examine our institutions and our values. And global challenges from trade wars to climate change have made us acutely aware of our interconnections and the dangers in our failure to cooperate across borders. And now we are entering into electoral campaigns, which, while local and national, are exceedingly global in impact. Thus, this is an extraordinary and critical time to be part of an academic community like ours at NYU and Liberal Studies. Some used to talk about the university as an ivory tower. I do not think that many of us believe that this is an accurate description of the university, or even possible today. The university, especially New York University, is an integral part of the city, the region, the nation, and the globe. We not only engage in knowledge production to meet local and global challenges in our classes, in our laboratories and studies, but also participate as members of multiple and overlapping communities in attempting to understand, clarify, and address pressing concerns that affect our lives and the lives of others. From the pandemic to police violence and mass incarceration, to climate change and statelessness. We cannot turn away from these challenges, nor escape the hurt and outrage at injustice that comes from experiencing violence in Black, Brown, and Indigenous communities, nor ignore the despair at borders or in refugee camps, and the inequalities of opportunity and access experienced by many amidst pockets of increasing wealth and privilege. The university is an incredible incubator of change, of fresh concepts in innovation solutions, where we can explore and celebrate our differences and seek ways to advance cooperation. The classroom is the first place for us to experiment with new designs, notions, and approaches, and to practice the kind of respect for others that will be critical to us as advocates for a better world. The start of the academic year holds promise of new journeys, experiences, opportunities, and discoveries, and will certainly present more twists and turns, trials and surprises, as well as individual and collective achievements. While collective activities this fall will be virtual, there will be many more exciting opportunities for engagement than ever. From the Big Ideas classes and our Common Read opportunities to virtual lectures, forums, clubs, organizations, spaces for advocacy and activism. There will also be opportunities to engage in voter registration campaigns as well, and efforts to protect our precious right to vote on. Last year, our GLS students garnered awards across campus for leadership and civic engagement, prestigious fellowships and scholarships, and recognition for original research in creative work, all in the face of the pandemic challenge. I know that you all will continue these successful trajectories, confirming the exceptional quality of academic and civic engagement distinctive of global liberal studies. Please make sure to follow the Student Affairs newsletter and our LS social media, and take advantage of our virtual town halls and other meetings, and of course, open office hours with the Dean. I am confident that you will inspire one another to greatness, to find promise in the new academic year, embrace our enthusiasm for learning, and demonstrate a readiness to make a difference together. Congratulations and welcome to all. Have a fabulous year.
Class of 2024, congratulations on your acceptance to New York University and to Global Liberal Studies. I'm Professor SUSANNA HORNG, and on behalf of the GLS faculty, I'm honored and excited to welcome you and share some insights into what makes GLS special and how you can take full advantage of the opportunities that GLS, NYU, and New York City have to offer. I like to think of GLS as a small liberal arts college within a large research university. Many of our courses are small seminar-style classes with 15 to 25 students per class, taught by full-time faculty, so professors get to know students well both inside and outside the classroom. We serve as mentors to students for academics, internship opportunities, career aspirations, and extracurricular activities. One of the hallmarks of our program is that students have the opportunity to build relationships with faculty from their very first semester. How do you do that? First, participate actively in class. This might sound obvious, but it bears mentioning. Speak up during class discussion. Extend the conversation by making connections among texts and among your peers. Now, of course, to be able to participate in class, you'll need to prepare for class before class by doing the assignments, asking questions of the text, looking up what you may not know, and challenging your assumptions. If you need help with how to prepare for class, ask your professor for guidance. Doing the prep work before class will enable you to participate robustly. Ask questions in class, even if you feel self-conscious or think the question is obvious. 9 times out of 10, others have the exact same question and don't ask. The quickest way for your professor to clear things up is if you ask in class. If you're confused, let your professor know earlier rather than later. Feedback helps the professor make adjustments to class and improve everyone's learning. Second, office hours. Meet with your professors during office hours to talk one-on-one about a shared common academic, career, or life interest. Your professors can suggest additional readings, point you in the direction of deeper research, connect you to internship and career opportunities, scholarships, symposiums and conferences, research, and other opportunities. Third, get involved. Your professors in GLS will host experiential learning events and clubs. I encourage you to attend as many as you can to get to know your peers and professors and to build your community. Now, this might sound obvious, but read the GLS newsletter, which comes out every Tuesday. There are listings for free lectures, student clubs, free ticketed events, internships, etc. NYU and the residence halls and all of the sites offer tons of free and low-cost events, concerts, lectures, tours, and other kinds of activities. So sign up for a ticket and attend, even if you don't know the artist or the author or the play or the concert. In my experience, students don't take advantage of all the cool speaker opportunities at the university. It's a way to deepen your knowledge and to get to know more people in your community. So you are all amazing, high-achieving students who bring many talents, skills, and experiences with you to GLS. Our goals as faculty are to help you develop your potential and to help you hone your critical thinking, writing, and analytic skills for the career path of your choice. Our faculty are dedicated to teaching and the undergraduate student experience. Our faculty work tirelessly in supporting students to be the best that they can be. Our faculty have designed a curriculum with global elements containing global works and global perspectives, which we've organized into 6 concentrations. These are in alphabetical order: art, text, and media, which we abbreviate as ATM, critical creative production, which we abbreviate as CCP, and I teach in CCP, cultural and social identities, which is abbreviated as CSI, law, ethics, history, and religion, which is abbreviated as LER, LEHR, then politics, rights, and development, which is abbreviated as PRD, and sustainability, health, and the environment, which we call SHE, or SHE. In your sophomore year, you'll be asked to join a concentration of your choice in which to further your studies. This will prepare you for your junior year abroad and your senior year-long capstone project, also known as the senior thesis. One can think of the concentrations as interdisciplinary methods of inquiry and lenses with which to analyze a subject or topic. For instance, on the subject of race and racial justice, an ATM approach might be to examine the graphic design and visual literature of the Black Lives Matter movement. A CCP approach might be to film a documentary or write a novella or collection of poems or short stories about individual stories in the Black Lives Matter movement. A CSI approach might examine the influence of social media on Black Lives Matter. A LEHR approach might analyze the history of police brutality on at-risk communities and how it sparked the Black Lives Matter movement. A PRD approach might examine how Black Lives Matter affects human rights in the Global South. A she approach might examine the environmental or health factors that affect Black Lives Matter. I hope these approaches give you context about the work we will do together in GLS and how excited faculty are to guide you on this journey. We are thrilled to get to know you and to work with and learn from you this semester. Thank you for listening.
Welcome to GLS and NYU. The first thing they teach you after you join the program are the acronyms. Anyway, my name is Diya. I'm from Bangalore, India, and I'm so excited to share my thoughts and experiences with you today. I'm a fourth-year student majoring in Global Liberal Studies with a concentration in Politics, Rights, and Development. I'm also minoring in Psychology and German and had the opportunity to study in Berlin this past year as part of my major. So I've had 3 years of trying, in vain, to explain exactly what GLS is in all the professional and academic lingo you usually hear. This program truly escapes encapsulation through words alone. So today I'm going to show you how I see GLS through this pencil case. My major gives me the skills to understand a subject as a product of global connections. It gives me the tools to analyze this pencil case as being made in Kashmir at the crossroads of Southeast and West Asia. The pattern could symbolize a history of syncretic traditions of Buddhism, Hinduism, and Islam, and the presence of this object in my hands right now is the result of the rise of Indian middle-class mobility and military power in the region. That's global liberal studies. My concentration is politics, rights, and development, which means I would prefer to analyze this pencil case through the lens of India's economic relationship with Kashmir and how that affects, say, human rights there. With GLS, I could also look at the same object through ancient art, documentary filmmaking, legal practices, and more. This is why I chose my major. You learn not what to think, but rather how to think. As an international student who had lived in India my whole life, I was rather reluctant to study in an American university because I was certain I would have to let go of my personal and academic history. But when I got into GLS, I realized here was an opportunity to expand my horizons without excluding my origins. I remember being awestruck in my very first liberal studies class because one of the texts we were assigned was the Rig Veda, a text foundational to Hinduism that we read alongside the Mesopotamian legend of Gilgamesh. And over the years, I've had the opportunity to understand diverse points of view in super unique academic settings. I would never have expected to learn about waste management by riding bikes through a landfill turned park, or to study Dante's Inferno in New York's Cathedral of St. John the Divine as my professor recited it to an audience of 300 at midnight. Experiential learning took on a whole new meaning for me once I got to Berlin my junior year. At first, I was hesitant to study away at all. Being an international student, it felt like New York was my study away experience. But I'm so glad I did it because the program in Berlin extended beyond the classroom in every way. The most fun I've ever had is walking around the city to analyze installations celebrating the fall of the Berlin Wall, while hearing stories about my professor's college rock band in the process. I literally learned on the job through my internship placement at a Syrian-German nonprofit studio space and cafe. The set of skills I've gained in GLS range from learning to analyze revolutions to being able to bargain for a free bottle opener in German. It's a long story that has to do with my internship. I also got to combine the academic and practical in the Liberal Studies Dean's Circle Honors Seminar, where a group of core and GLS students got to conduct research under the dean on a specific theme. And you go on a trip sponsored by LS to learn about the topic and see its relevance in real life. In our class, we discussed walls, looking at themes of boundaries and barriers in some of the most contentious geopolitical contexts. The class solidified my interest in researching identities and issues that cross borders, and I carried this over to Berlin, where I found myself writing about an elderly Turkish migrant's treehouse that was built in the no man's land between East and West Berlin for my GLS City as Text class. Hybridities and binaries are themes I'm also exploring in graduate school applications and my senior thesis. I'm sure you've realized by now that it's never all work and no play in this program. My trip as part of Dean's Circle was to NYU Abu Dhabi. I was debating the future of the nation state in the morning, and in the evening somehow found myself watching a man demonstrate something called lava tea in the marketplace with the shop owner's pet parakeet perched on my professor's shoulder. Global liberal studies gave me so many inspiring academic perspectives, but often it's the small, hilarious moments of connecting with other people that I value most. That's also what got me involved in student leadership and service positions in LS. The wonderful people around me inspired me to give back. The one downside of such an individualized program is that with great freedom comes great confusion, especially for me being new to this whole system. But from the moment I joined GLS, I had the help of my incredibly supportive advisor through several existential crises, figuring out my minors and concentration, and had a fellow international student who was an amazing peer mentor to me. Shout out to Yasmin. I wanted to support other international students who may have been feeling the same mixture of loneliness, wonder, amazement, and confusion that I felt the first few months of my studies. So I went from being a mentee to a peer mentor my sophomore year. And I wanted to give back to the city of New York, especially keeping in mind my own privilege as an NYU student. Through being a liberal studies service ambassador, I volunteered at the Go Project, supporting fourth graders in English and math and getting beaten by them in basketball at recess. My journey in this program hasn't been perfect. It hasn't been easy, but it's been surprising in the best of ways. There have been courses that I've worked to improve in terms of representing the voices of people of color, and when I first got to Berlin, I felt alone and overwhelmed in my limited German. But working with curricula made me realize my passion for education, and other GLS students feeling the same way in Berlin became some of my best friends. This degree pushes you just outside of your comfort zone, and when you're starting to get used to it, it pushes you a little bit further. Whether in writing essays or at internships, that can sometimes be exhausting, but I find that that little spark, that aha moment where you make a connection between two texts from opposite ends of the earth, they make it worth it. GLS teaches you to be bold enough to ask questions and to make peace with the fact that there is never really one single answer to anything. And I hate to bring up these unprecedented times that you see referenced in every email right now, but I have to say that learning to be comfortable with uncertainty and complexity through GLS actually has helped me gain a more nuanced view of the challenging last few months and the changing mode of my own education. And while I can't imagine what it is like to start your college journey in these unusual and difficult circumstances, I can only say this. The faculty and administrators I've worked with in liberal studies have always been incredibly accommodating and supportive, and I have full faith that no pandemic or unstable internet connection can stop them from sharing the strength of their passions and sparking curiosity in you. I hope to be able to bump into all of you in the library or the liberal studies office when it's safe for that to happen, but until then I want to say thank you for listening. It isn't normal, but it's also somehow truly the spirit of GLS for me to be able to connect with all of you across the world from my own home in Bangalore, India. Please feel free to shoot me an email about absolutely anything, whether it's to discuss the meaning of inclusion in LS or to hear the full story of the professor and the parakeet. Congratulations on joining GLS and welcome to the community.
Hi everyone, my name is Felicia NARA, my pronouns are she, her, and I am the president of the Liberal Studies Student Council. I am a rising senior in Global Liberal Studies, aka GLS, with a concentration in cultural and social identities and secondary majors in history and philosophy. I'm really honored and excited to be your president this year, and I'm also really excited to share with you guys a little bit about what we do as a council and how you all can get involved. So as a council, we organize social, academic, and professional events for LS students. In the past, these have looked like things like town halls with the dean, info sessions about transferring or transitioning to other schools at NYU, free film screenings at local movie theaters, and Q&A panels with LS alumni about post-graduation employment, etc. While we know that a lot of these events are going to look a little different this semester, we're still working hard to bring you guys equally exciting, socially distant, and virtual programming in the fall. Another important thing that we do for you is we advocate for you guys at an all-university level. So what that means is I, as president, have a seat on the Student Government Assembly, or SGA, as does our Senator David. SGA is an organization that advocates for all students at NYU, among which David and I represent LS. So SGA does a lot of really cool things. Recently, for example, they filed an amicus brief in support of a lawsuit against ICE and Homeland Security that partially contributed to them rescinding a decision to bar international students from taking all online courses this semester. So if you'd like to get involved with the LS Student Council and help us with any of those cool things, we'd really love to have you. We're opening a round of elections this fall, so keep an eye out for registration forms in your emails. We also, if you don't want to get involved in that formal of a capacity, we also have 4 committees that you can join. These 4 committees are Global Liberal Studies, Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, Public Relations, and Events. So if you want to join any of those committees, signups will open up later this semester. Finally, if you don't want to have a formal position on the Student Council, but you still want to get your voice heard, we also have General Assembly meetings a few times per semester that are a public forum for any LS student to come and voice their concerns, give us feedback, propose new ideas for us to implement, etc., etc. So my job on LSSC, alongside every other member on council, is to reflect what you guys want as our constituents. So you absolutely do have a say in everything that we do. Please don't hesitate to reach out to us at ls.studentcouncil@nyu.edu if you have any questions or suggestions. Before I go, I want to leave you guys with a few little pieces of advice. I know it sounds cliche, but I really want to encourage you to take advantage of all the opportunities that you have at your fingertips. Talk to your professors. They're way cooler than you think they are. Join student council. We're also way cooler than you think we are. Go to events, join clubs, meet people, do things that are exciting and scary. Put yourself out there. Live a little, you know? There will always be more to learn, more to explore, but also more hard work, more long nights. I should know I've pulled countless all-nighters and BOPSed. I've sat through hundreds of boring lectures, and I can tell you that, while your grades are important and your academics matter, it's the moments in between that you should savor. It's the lulls in between your classes and your study sessions and your furious essay writing frenzies. Those are the moments that you should treasure for the rest of your life. So every late night pizza slice, every walk through Washington Square Park, every High School Musical sing-along with your roommates, those are the moments that will stick with you. So be present in them, be appreciative, be joyful. Don't be thinking about your 9 a.m. or the midterm you have coming up or anything like that, because you owe it to yourself to work hard, but you also owe it to yourself to be happy while you do it. So with that, I wish you all the best at NYU and in liberal studies, no matter how long you're here. You can always reach out to us at the Liberal Studies Student Council by email at ls.studentcouncil@nyu.edu. We are here to serve you. And while we know that this semester might look a little different than usual or a little different from what you had hoped, we'll still be doing our best to make your time in LS as amazing as it can be given the circumstances. So look out for updates from us on Instagram at NYULSSC, all one word, or on Twitter at NYU_LSSC. And I'm so excited to meet all of you. And I'm really excited to also see all the amazing, wonderful things you're gonna do. Bye!